Well, hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to Two Turtles Homestead. We are back for another edition of small batch canning. Today I'm going to be making some chicken bone broth, and I thought I'd bring you along so we could small batch can some broth and put it up in the pantry. So come on, let's get busy. All right, for our ingredients list that we have today, I just have a couple of chicken carcasses that I have been saving in the freezer, both cooked and uncooked. I've got some celery tops that I've had in my freezer, and some green onion tops, a couple of carrots that are kind of getting a little floppy, some peppers that are going bad. I'm gonna cut out all the bad spots. And that's the great thing about bone broth or chicken stock is that you can use all of the things that maybe aren't so great, but they'll work great in the broth. And you can always just start gathering your vegetable scraps and put them in the freezer until you have enough to make some stock. So let's get it in the Instant Pot and get it going. You just want to give your veggies a rough chop and cut out any bad spots in there. And that's what I did with the peppers, and that's what I did with the carrots. So they're ready to go in. All right, so I'm just going to go in with my chicken, and I have a 6-quart Instant Pot, and so here is my 2/3 line, so I don't want to get above that with solids or liquids, so I'm going to try to keep my solids at this half mark. And I'm going in with my peppers and with my green onions. This is my celery. These are actually celery tops. All right, so you can see I'm still right at the half mark with my solids. And to this, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. That helps bring out the flavor and then breaks the bones down. I'll add my 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. A couple of bay leaves. I'm going to add about just a 1/2 tablespoon of salt. You can certainly leave salt out if you don't want to add that in there. 1/2 tablespoon of peppercorns. Okay, now we're just going to fill our pot with water. You want to use filtered water if you're on city water. We're on well water, so I don't have to do that. We're going to fill it up to the 2/3 mark. We're going to pop our top on. We're going to set it to pressure cook. We want it on low pressure. We don't want it to keep warm. We do want it to natural vent, and this is going to cook for 2 hours. We're going to set our time for 2 hours, and then we're going to let it go. So you want, if you have this Instant Pot, you want to make sure that it is at pressure cooking at least 230 degrees. So I'm going to keep an eye on that and make sure it reaches 230 degrees. So we'll be back when it's finished in natural release, and we'll see how it looks. Okay, the Instant Pot just clicked off. It is 4:47. It's 4:47. So I started this, I guess, about 1 o'clock. So we'll see what it looks like together. Let's get the lid off. It smells really good. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, look at that. All right, so I'm gonna drain all of the solids out of there, and we'll get this jarred up and canned up. That looks really good. I have this awesome little strainer that I got on Amazon. I use it. It's a very fine mesh strainer, and I use this for both when I strain broth and when I strain my yogurt. So it is an awesome strainer. And you want to be Really careful when you're doing this because this is still really very, very hot. Carefully pour this in here. All right, and it just pours everything out of there. All right, so we're gonna let that sit for a few minutes. As you can see, this just lifts right on up, and that is such a nice golden color. Look at that. Look how pretty and golden it is. You want to fill these to about an inch or 1 inch head space. Look how pretty that is. That is some pretty chicken stock or chicken broth. Okay, so I've got my 4 pint jars jarred up, and so I'm gonna put this back in here so that it can continue to drain, and I'm gonna pour off what drained out while it was sitting there. I will let this continue to drain while I'm processing these jars over here. So here are my 4 jars. I'm gonna get them wiped down and put the lids on them. I've got to wash this inner pot. Okay, it is very, very important to make sure that you clean off the rims of these jars because you don't want any of that chicken fat that was in the broth to be on these rims because that could prevent you from getting a good seal on them. So get them wiped off really well. I've got 4 cups of water in there already. So I'm going to just set these jars in here, and I'm going to add two more cups of water. You want it a third of the jar, and so because these pints are a little squattier, it's pushing that water up. So we're going to put the lid on. We're going to hit canning. We want it at max pressure. We don't want it to keep warm. We want a natural vent, and these are going to process for 20 minutes, but I'm processing at 25 because I'm above the 1,000-foot elevation. And we're just going to hit start and let it do its thing. We'll be back either when they're finished today, or I'll just catch up with you tomorrow and see the finished product. Well, hey everyone, welcome back. It's the next day, and we're finished with our chicken broth. I'm going to get the jars all cleaned up and labeled up, and we'll do a look at the final product. So hey, there you have it. I ended up with 7 pints of homemade chicken broth, just from scraps left over in my freezer. So remember, you don't have to be overwhelmed thinking that you have to have a big garden or homestead or even raise your own chickens. You can use whatever you have on hand, even if it's from the store. So save those chicken carcasses and make you some chicken broth. You won't regret it. Hey, and if you like our content, I hope that you'll consider subscribing to the channel and following us along on our journey. We'd love to have you. We'll see you next time.